Alrighty, well, Facebook Live should start up, and there's the icon I was looking for. So we can begin. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Success Partners International Training Zoom. My name is Steve Beck, and I'm in Morris, Illinois. And we will start as we do every Wednesday night with our signature message. We have you muted, so we won't hear you, but you can go ahead and say it along with me. I'm part of a growing team of entrepreneurs with a shared mission to protect and empower 2 million families and small businesses with Legal Shield's network of law firms and world-class identity theft services. What we do matters, and we are looking for help. As always, you want to keep that posted where you'll see it frequently, commit it to memory, and it will be at your disposal whenever you need it. With that, let me stop my own video because I asked everyone else to. There we go. And I have the pleasure now of turning the room over to someone you all know, the founder of Success Partners International, Millionaire Club member, coach, mentor, and friend to all of us. And Mr. John Drennan, the room is all yours.
Hey, Steve, thanks so much. And while you're doing all this tonight, I'm thinking about all the things you're doing. In fact, I invite everyone, if you want to send some kind of accolades to Steve Beck. He got this room open before 9:10 Eastern, had great music playing, switched to check-in at 9:20, did the check-in, got us on Facebook Live, we're being recorded. He's doing all these things like a wizard. So, and doing it with humor and fun. So, Steve, I can't thank you enough for everything. And you don't just do this occasionally, you do this constantly. So, what an asset. And thank you so much. And I'm excited about this Zoom tonight. And let me get right into it. Many of you know that back in late June, I brought Dani Goeden on to talk about what had happened in the month of June for her when she was pretty bummed out. And then late in the month, with about a week to go, decided to make this run for senior director, which she'd never done. And part of that was influenced by the fact she talked to a couple of associates who had some things going, and she did the numbers and thought, you know, I think I can get there if I really commit myself. So rather than wallow in the misery of the fact she had gotten out of Performance Club and just felt like things weren't going well, she went to work and came up a little bit short of senior director, but had one of her best months ever, had an incredible last week of the month of June. And because of what she did, Legal Shield actually reinstated her into Performance Club. That launched momentum into July, where she ended up achieving senior director in July, and then again in August. Now, and many of you know that because in July, I interviewed Dani every week in that month because I wanted everyone to get a taste of what it was like to move your business forward, because she had momentum and focus. And since then, a lot has happened. She made executive or senior director again in September. That was 3 months in a row. And we say once you do it 3 months in a row, you've become that position. So she became a senior director. And I thought it'd be great to bring her on tonight with her husband, Tim, and have you hear from what's been going on since. And here's why I'm doing it. First of all, kudos to Dani. But second of all, there's so much to learn here if you listen for the nuggets. And a lot of those nuggets were shared back in June and July, but now we're going to pick up on that. So Dani and Tim, I first of all want to welcome you and say good evening. And let me, Dani, go to you to just start with, tell us what's happened. So September, you made senior director. I don't know if you want to comment on that. And then talk about what happened in October before we talk about November. So over to you.
Yeah, so September we did make senior director. It was last day, not always your best way to do that. And then in October, we were on the road to senior director, but we switched our focus a little bit from personal to team. And by that, I meant we were more focused on recruiting. We were more focused on coaching our team. And so we actually missed senior director by 100 points like we did in June. But this time we as Tim likes to call it, we lost the battle, but we're winning the war, because we really did build a lot of team and bring on new people, so that this month we're on a roll.
So I remember Tim saying that, lost the battle, but won the war, or you're winning the war. And I thought that was really fitting because, and folks, I've kept my eye on what they're doing. And I know in October, even though they fell short of senior director, which I believe you thought you were going to hit pretty handily, but we know it doesn't always work out that way. But even though you didn't make the senior director, I know you had a lot of amazing things happen. So Dani, how many premium points did you have personally in the month of June when you just fell short? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was somewhere in the 600 range
Okay, out of about 600 and
out of
40 or
700.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
But personal, how much of that was personal?
about 600-ish.
Yeah, okay.
610, something like that.
Then, since then, what's the most team premium you've had in a month?
Well, last month, actually, no, it's probably the month before that, we had about 400 in team premium. That
Okay,
was,
so I hope everyone heard that. 600 in June, but last month 400 teams. 600 personal in June, but last month 400 teams. So if you take the 600, which was an amazing month, personal, but add 400 team, that's 1,000. That blows through senior director, now is halfway further to executive director. So the bend of the curve that they've seen is going from lots of personal premium shifting into team, which you talked about. So before we get into November, Tim, I know that you've always been supportive, but you had your own job and we're doing your own thing, like is true for a lot of couples. And behind the scenes, you were bringing some people to the table. But over the last couple months, between losing your job, like so many people have in the COVID environment, and moving more toward working with Dani, I'd love for people to hear your comments on just the progress you've seen and any comments you want to make up through, when you came on board more with Dani up through the end of October.
Well, I appreciate that. I've seen my wife go from this quiet, and I call her a little mouse when we first started. She didn't really want to talk to anybody. She did it via text, so it's an easy way out kind of thing. And then graduate bigger and bigger into doing presentations, holding briefings. And quite honestly, I got a little jealous because I'm really good at that. I'm not as good as her right now in this aspect. So I wanted to get involved. I've always been involved like you had talked about, but and just the joy of watching her just become a leader. And if I keep talking about it, I'm going to cry. So, and then just reflecting on my own story as to how I felt railroaded by the legal system when my son was put in the hospital. Had I been able to tap a button, and I've always known it, but it never really hit home. And that's just what's driving me to be passionate about it. And we have an associate on right now, Alan, and he's put a couple people in, not just because of what he said, but how he said it. He was passionate, and they just like, I want to know what this guy's doing because he's just so freaking excited. So that's what I want to bring to the table. So we kind of complement each other, and it's just been a pleasure to be able to do this from home and not have to worry about a job.
And as people get to know Tim, Tim's a really smart guy, picks up things quickly. He's got a lot of skills, and he's talking about seeing the growth in Dani. And any of you who have been kind of plugged in, tuned in, we've seen that growth in Dani. I have enormously. And so together, you guys are powerful. Now, some people might hear this and think, well, my spouse isn't joining me, so does that mean I'm doomed? Well, no, not at all. My wife has never worked Legal Shield, but she's always supported me, but she does her thing. I support her. Most people in Legal Shield are doing this alone. Maybe they don't have a spouse or their spouse is doing other things, but you know, it's great when two people can come together and they're really working well together. And you know, I know that both of you guys keep me busy. I mean, just tonight, you had a guest or two on the Zoom, and right afterward, you're asking me, can I jump on a three-way? I was on another three-way, but I understand that person's coming on board. But I know, Danny, one day you texted me and said, you now know what it's like to do 11 Zooms in one day. Do you want to comment on that for a minute?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was an insane day. I mean, just doing presentation after presentation, as well as meeting with each member of our team individually. Yeah, my voice hurt, as it does today, because we did quite a few Zooms today as well. And so I got the tea out today because I knew I was being interviewed, and I was like, my voice hurts. I need some tea. But yeah, it's really fun though, because we get to do it from home, and and we've been able to tag team now, which is really fun. That I'm really glad that he's able to do that, because I had something come up with my mom in an emergency that came up, and I was like, Tim, Alan needs us to do a presentation. Are you ready? And I handed it off, and he did a great job, as far as I know, on that presentation, and I was able to go take care of the emergency. So that's what has been really powerful for me in this growth, is really learning to let go of some things and let him do some things too, because I've been doing it kind of on my own with him in the background for so long.
So it's hard to win a war if you're the only one fighting. So
That's true.
We've teamed up, and we've concentrated on building a team so that we can win the war. Yeah, we missed senior 1 month, but we consider it a victory.
I really do.
Yeah, in the way some people team up, it's not with a spouse. Maybe they don't have a spouse, but they team up with a workout partner or somebody on their team. I know when I first got started, Jim Harkema, he and I worked every day together. I mean, we were like brothers and teammates every single day. So I really get that. And by the way, Danny made an interesting point. You know, if you're someone on here and you've never had a day where by the end of the day your voice hurt or you were literally losing your voice, that means you haven't had what we call an executive director day. I've had many of those days where I did so much presenting and talking in three ways, and just talking, it's amazing what that does to your voice. I've grown to really respect these people that do that for a living every single day, like a Tony Robbins. It's just incredible. But that's real when at the end of the day, your voice is hurting. So I challenge everyone to have that experience. But this next question, Tim, I want to put it to you because I think this will be a fun one to answer. So where are you at now in November? Let me look right here. It's November 18th. So we're a little over halfway through the month. Of course, next week will be a little bit unusual with Thanksgiving, but where are you at for the month? And Dani, you can rest your voice for a minute, but you'll certainly weigh in. But Tim, how's November going?
November is doing fantastic. It's we're over 700 right now. So the gentleman that was on the Zoom, he's not gonna need his hand held. He just went straight for it. He did the business builder and just signed up. So that pushed us to 754. So we only need 646 points to hit ED this month. So we've personally done 485, and our team has done the rest. We've only done one recruit this month, but we've got several other in the works, as well as a couple of our team members are really close to getting some recruits and getting that multiplier that we're all shooting for to help push us on that leaderboard for Cabo. So it's exciting.
So Dani, I just heard Tim say we only need 654 with about 12 days left. And I'll put that in perspective to where you were maybe in May, to think about now in November to be saying we only need 650 more as a real thing you both see to hit executive director. And he said, we only have one recruit this month. when there were months you didn't have a recruit. So Dani, how's all that feel to you?
It feels really good. You know, it's always said that success leaves clues. It really does. Plugging in consistently, you know, you were giving me a lot of flack for not getting on the morning stretch call in my first 90-day run. And I kept making excuses. Well, guess what? We stopped making those excuses and the alarm goes off. It's 5:53 in the morning, every morning that the alarm goes off now, and Tim and I jump on. Success leaves clues. He went out and he's like, I'm buying us a whiteboard. And now we have this 4x6 whiteboard in our office, in our war room, as Tim calls it. And it's so much more visual, you guys. Like, I can't even express how much the success leaves clues, and the fact that every successful person that you see on these Zooms, what's behind them or what's next to them, it's a freaking big whiteboard with their team on it.
If it's written down, it's real.
Yeah,
you know,
and
so.
And it's just been exciting, John. It really has.
The stretch call is nice. You know, you wake up to a positive attitude.
Yeah.
And what was fun is I kept hearing you, John, say, why aren't you on? Why aren't you on? I didn't say anything to her because I wasn't super involved yet. But once I started, I don't know, she picked up my brainwave because I looked at her and I said, why aren't we on the stretch call? And I don't know if she was making an excuse then, saying, yeah, I already planned it, or she just went along with it. But that, you know, you do it together, and that's been a big thing for us.
And you know, folks, these guys are in Colorado. That's mountain time. So as they said, I mean, the stretch call starts at 6 a.m. You might think, well, I'm not ready for that commitment. I want everyone to understand these are two people that said, we want to be executive director. Like, what do you suggest? So one thing I suggested was the stretch call for a lot of reasons. I'm not going to go into all of them. There's reasons people don't even know. But they did that, and did a lot of other things. Like, you guys use Zooms all the time. You're on there all the time. You got guests all the time. Did you have 4 guests on today at lunch?
That was yesterday evening. We
That's right.
had 4 guests between us and our team. So 2 on ours and 2 were Allen's.
That's right. You reached out to me to come do some 3-ways. And I woke up to that because I actually went to bed really early last night. And so 4 last night, but they're, you know, guests on a regular basis, and then doing 3-ways right afterwards. So what are they doing? You know, they're adding to their list. They're using Prospect, which we haven't talked much about, but I know you use it. But mainly they're inviting to the Zooms and doing the proper follow-up. And then when people get started, they're onboarding and spending time with those people. Earlier, Dani said, you know, the one day she did 11 Zooms, and part of that was reaching out and getting new people on and working with them. And here's what I've noticed. As they do this, they get better every single week. Dani is a way more skilled associate today than she was in June. Tim is way more skilled at Legal Shield today than he was when he really joined forces with Dani a couple months ago. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but do you guys want to comment on that at all, what I just said?
It's 100% true. You know, we've always believed in it, but just plugging in and being a part of, we look so forward to having not just a team that's producing like it is now, but to join us at conventions and join us on trips and things. And that's just going to further excite us. It's not going to change what we say, but it's going to change how we say it. And people will pick up on that, and it's contagious.
I agree. We've been really pushing the Cabo this month and talking to our team about that. And that's gotten a lot of people excited because we experienced our first all expense paid trip last year to Cabo, and you know that's where the signature hat came from, of course. But that it was so amazing, and it was so eye-opening to both of us that we're like, this would be eye-opening to other people as well. And so we've definitely been highlighting that. I do want to highlight also, one of the tips that you gave us was don't coach each other. And that has been really helpful. And then we got on with the Birds, Sheila and Carlos Bird, and had a good conversation with them because they were the same way. Carlos actually started first and then Sheila kind of joined after. And they really talked us through how to work with each other without killing each other and complement each other's skills. Because he has skills that I don't, and I have skills that he doesn't. And instead of coaching each other on those skills, just complementing each other on those skills.
Well, that's a great point. And when Tim, you first got real involved with Dani, it was a different energy than what it is now. And so what I'm seeing is incredible growth from the two of you together, which others wouldn't be able to see because they weren't seeing you a few months ago. But you guys have grown tremendously. And so kudos for that. So what we've heard is, they've really plugged in. Before it was on and off. It was not plug into certain things, plug into other things. Secondly, the whiteboard with everything up and visual. And Dani made a great point, when it's visual, it's right there in front of you. Use of the Zooms, use of the three-ways. And in doing this, we say when you do the thing, you'll have the power. And by doing the thing, their power's grown because they've just gotten better and better and have a growing team. And so in wrapping this up, I'm looking at my notes here. I got so many. So I just want to go back to you one more time to both of you and just say, is there, and by the way, I want to pre-frame this, I did this again tonight so other people could hear your story and pick up some nuggets. And maybe it's just one or two things other people need to do. And you've offered a lot here, but anything you would say to anybody who's maybe at that level of director and senior director, looks far off, and maybe they've been frustrated in and out of Performance Club, anything, Dani, you would say to them, and Tim, anything you want to add on from what you've learned from this?
I would say, definitely get in Performance Club. That's, one of the biggest things. We've been in Performance Club for 4 years, minus that one little stint that we fell off when I was like all bummed. But we've been in for 4 years now, thanks to Legal Shield for helping me out with that. And the second thing is plug in to anything and everything that you can. I mean, the more that I've plugged in, the more that I've learned, the more nuggets I'm getting, the more that I'm realizing that I actually know what I'm doing. I've always known what I'm doing. I'm listening to the same things over again, but they're actually finally resonating. And that's huge. So the more you plug in, the more you're going to realize it's in you. You have it. It's there. You just actually have to apply it.
And what I would say is think back to when you first started as an associate. We always talk about that belief check, like when you make your first sale. Now it's real, right? Well, we've had several belief checks, but they weren't very big. And once you start, it is freaking contagious. You are not going to settle for the bare minimum anymore because you know what's possible. You got that big fat check and then you get added to it and you start getting a team and it just starts growing and you see them get their belief check. And then you want to be there when they too aren't satisfied with the milk or they want to move to solid food. And that's what you get. You just hop on an opportunity Zoom here and there. You're getting milk. You've heard it a zillion times. I challenge everyone to graduate to eating solid food, taking in the meat of the presentations, and I just get anything and everything that you can. Get full.
Yeah, and that ties back into the plugging in. And I want to say this: some people might resist the full out plugging in. And for those people, I would say, if you have or have had a job, were you full out and plugging in? Did you drive your job even in bad weather, on bad roads, even in heavy traffic, even when you had the sniffles? We know the answer is yes. It's amazing what people do to fulfill job commitments, sometimes because they absolutely love it, sometimes because they know their role is so meaningful, but typically it's just to get the paycheck and the benefits. When you apply that same mindset and approach to Legal Shield, the sky is absolutely the limit. I want to make one more comment, and I know in talking with you guys, I've challenged you to do something that I've seen ring earners and EDs do, and that's find your upper limit. Search for that upper limit. What are you truly capable of in a day, not in a month or 90 days, but in a day? If you take your best day ever and then look at that and say, I'm going to blow by that. I'm going to search for my upper capabilities. And you guys have done that. So you've been very coachable. So, hey, with that, I do want to, I know Timur Halligan was on here. I'm not sure if available to comment. And if Timur, if you are on and available to comment on anything from tonight, I know you've traveled the journey, $150,000 ring earner, Millionaire Club member. If you're available, any comments you want to make? Okay. With that, then I'm going to finish the way I started. Well, first, I'm going to thank the Godens for sharing, so many nuggets, and starting the way or finishing how I started was Steve Beck, doing so many things, including finding a video for us 2 times a week to end. Sunday night, we end with a inspirational kind of video, maybe funny, maybe inspiring. And Wednesday, we like to do a training segment because this is our training Zoom. So that, Mr. Beck, let me go back to you to wrap it up with the video. Thank you.
Hi guys, it's Tanya Killian here. Hopefully you guys can hear me and see me. I had a little bit of issues last night with connectivity, so hopefully it doesn't go out tonight. But my name again is Tanya Killian. I'm a network marketer and entrepreneur, and I do tips and tricks for other network marketers, other entrepreneurs, and encouragement for daily living. Today I really want to talk about the next steps. I listened to a talk today and was completely blown away because I have been so guilty of this. I have been just trapped by fear, and I don't want you guys to get stuck in that same place. I want you to be able to move forward. I want your businesses to grow. I want you to see success, and it's so easy to do to get trapped by fear. And what really needs to happen is, I know that we've talked about goals. You may do daily affirmations. You may set your vision for what your future is going to look like. And those are all great. Those are wonderful. You may pray for growth. Those are all fantastic things. But know that when you do all these things, your next step is going to become available. It is going to present itself to you, but probably not in the way that you think. You are going to see your opportunity come up, and you need to step out and actually do it. And it may be in a sense that it may be emotional. It may be, I can see myself cutting out. I hope that you guys can hear me. It may be an emotional experience. It may be that it is not in your comfort zone, and it may be something that you're terrified to do, but you really need to take the next steps to do it. Imagine that you are in a forest. You have no food and water. You have no idea how to get out of where you are. You're completely lost. And all you do is you look around and you sit down and you don't do anything. You will die. You will not be able to go anywhere. And just like that, your business will also die. So know that you could also be completely overwhelmed by the possibilities in the past that you could take, but you still don't take any of them. And in the same sense, you will die because you're not moving forward. And the most important thing that you can do is to just take a path. And it may be very, very scary. You don't know what's coming up, but know that you're going to get information. You're going to get other things come along your path where you can stop and reevaluate what's going on and see if it's really working, if you're going in the right direction, if you're going the way that you really want to go. And then you may change direction or you may keep going down that same path. But at least you're moving forward. You are actually growing. You're actually pushing yourself. You do yourself and the audience a tremendous disservice by not actually moving forward, by not actually taking yourself into that uncomfortable zone and growing. Guys, you are so important. You are valuable. You have an incredible story to tell. And if you don't tell it, if you don't actually start giving people impact, you're not going to get anywhere. And people want to hear your story. They want to hear about you. And you just have to get out there and find the right audience and do it. And the most important thing is that you are doing it. And know that there is going to be a tremendous impact that comes from that when you actually go forward. And yes, it may not be in dollar signs, although that does accompany it, but know that you are going to be making tremendous impact. You are going to be changing people's lives. And there is no greater joy than helping people. And you are going to see your business is going to flourish. Your life is going to flourish. And you're going to get tremendous value back from what you're giving out. So guys, I really hope that that was helpful. Don't get stranded by fear. Go out and do something incredibly daring today. Go out and change your life, change your business life, and change people's lives. I really hope you have a fantastic rest of your Friday, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, guys.
Okay, before we say goodnight, that's a network marketer, and that's typical regardless of the company that, she talked about being trapped by fear, and people in every company can relate to that. She talked about the impact that when you do the thing, the impact you can have on people. So just understand that what we do applies in every company. The benefit here is this is a company that's here to stay. We don't have really competitors, and we've got true residual income. So you're making major impact here. So I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks again, Steve Beck. With that, everyone have a great night. Hope to see you on the stretch call in the morning. Bye-bye for now.